Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. It's been about a couple weeks now since the Labor Day tournament, so stopping by to give you guys a video. First and foremost, welcome back to school for all our students. Hope you guys are doing well so far and have a great year. First, just a big shout out to each and one family for another great event. Big shout out to their crew for going above and beyond to cater to all the athletes and the fans. I don't think people quite understand the work you guys put on behind the scenes to make everything possible, and you guys should be commended for that. So thanks a lot from everyone. Big shout out to Hua and Dia for their award honoring their pretty much their lifetime achievements with Blitz. I have so much respect for what they've established there. They started out in the mid 2000s like BV, and kind of like BV, they've been so great for so long that they almost become the evil empire, in spite of doing things the right way, building their foundation, their structure, designing their blueprint, recruiting, developing talent, just molding their culture. I get it 100%. I know the sacrifices, both of them made. Practice and tournaments are, it's what people see, but they don't see the mental and emotional grind, just every other day trying to construct your system, your personnel, your schemes, and not even team events, but, working with individuals outside of your team events. And, you got to almost build the player before you build the athlete, and it takes a lot of time to really get to know your players and before the athlete, that is. And there's so much more to it, and I get it 1,000%. They both deserve their flowers, and I'm glad that you both were able to have that moment together, so congrats. Next, big congrats to Showrits on capping off their historic season with the sweep. If there was any doubt of who the best women's team was this year, let there be no more doubt. You can't speak about Showrins without speaking about Yer. She, in my opinion, is hands down the number one Hmong flag football player. That's men or women's. I think she's just that great. So, in my opinion, number one ranked player. She was the MVP of the finals, so congrats to her and her team. So the main point of this video is sort of, going down memory lane, recapping BV's road through this tournament from a fan's perspective, and also from someone who knows the personnel and schemes inside and out. So first off, obviously a few OGs made a return to help the next generation, who they've just been devastated with injuries and obstacles this year. Quarterback Mikey, who has been playing since 2003, before a lot of guys were even born that are playing today. Fu, aka number 10, who was a two-way player for us, multiple MVPs for our team. Flash, the quiet assassin, was back to torment some DBs. And of course, Wild Rice, doing what he does best, just putting the team on his back, and he'll will you to victory. He'll give you literally every ounce he's got. And so this is those are a few guys that are 5 or 6 years removed from the game, coming back to kind of help give BB a little run here. So we'll be recapping these guys. Our first game is BV versus ESPN, and I think at this point both teams, have a general idea of what each other likes to do, their tendencies, what they like to attack. And so even with personnel, I think they're pretty familiar at this point. But I knew that it was going to be a pretty physical game. ESPN is they have one of the better offensive and defensive lines. They've got one of the, as far as just size, they're one of the bigger teams up front. So I knew it was going to be a good game from my point of view. And so the game actually opened with ESPN having the ball, and they just threw a bubble screen, and there was a couple missed flags, kind of borderline block in the back, but just good vision on the receiver there to take it down the sideline, set up his blocks. Good hustle by the O-line to get out there, you know, just move with him. And yeah, that got him down, I think, inside the 5 or right around there, or 5-yard line. A huge play to, and usually, like I said before in the past in other videos, like I think a bubble screen or some type of screen usually is a good setup to just kind of gauge what the defense is doing. You know, it kind of backs off the defenders off, it backs them out of their pass rush, you know. So good job on ESPN just to set that up for them. And then I believe on the next play, it's just a sweep. They get out to the edge, they seal the edge. I think one of the backers takes a bad angle, and yeah, running back just a great job of getting to the sideline. Good job by the receivers to make their block and kick their guys out of the way. And so 2 plays in, ESPN's up, you know, 6-0 right away, and yeah, it's a great start for them. They don't convert, and so it's 6-0 early. And BV then methodically, you know, they marched down the field. I think it took them about 8 or 9 play drive to get it down inside to the red zone, maybe just inside the 20. And I think with that look, it kind of helps Gio, who's throwing, kind of get an idea of spacing on the field. And so he just does a good job of I'm sure he intended to maybe hold the safety, freeze him so he can let those post windows open. And sure enough, he hits Wild Rice on a post. Yeah, it's just a simple post route, you know, to tie up the game. BV does convert, so that 7-6 BV, they answer right back. Now it's now on ESPN, and to try to, you know, respond to that after giving up a long drive. And yeah, they just run into Wild Rice, man. They just run into trouble with him. You know, he double, triple team. He just makes a crazy play, as you can see here. Yeah, Titan tries to chip, and then guard comes in, and, you know, quarterback steps up. Wild Rice is just there. Typical Wild Rice play. ESPN ends up punting after that drive, and then BV answers back with a long ball. You know, that's kind of their bread and butter. Yeah, you give them time, and they're gonna make you pay. And Gio just does a good job of stepping into the pocket, maneuvering. I actually don't like his fundamentals here. He kind of staggers, you know, but that's him not having the experience, and needs to work on that. But he is able to regather and you know, fire a home run ball in there. And I believe safety takes a crossing route, and so we just, you know, he just sneaks a deep over route behind him. And yeah, Gio just does a great job putting the ball right in stride. Like, that doesn't get better than that as far as placing and where you want to put the ball. And then BV converts as well. It was on a little rollout, quarterback rollout, and able to convert there. That makes it 14-6. Late in that half, ESPN throws a pick, and it's a big return all the way back, maybe inside the 10-yard line. There's like bodies everywhere on that play. But then the play is overturned on a roughing the passer. I think they said that one of the pass rushers hit quarterback in the arm on his follow through, and so they threw a flag for that. That was nullified, and the game just goes to halftime. 14-6. BV is up. To open up the second half, BB gets the ball, and again, Gio just drives down methodically. He hits one of the young guys on a touchdown, one of the rookies that BB picked up and's been working with, Josh. And he picks up like I don't know if it's a slant or a post, and then and then on the conversion, just go right back to the young kid, throw him a back shoulder fade, just a little jump ball, and yeah, that's 21-6. You know, we're gonna have to go get the quarterback at this point. And yeah, ball rights again, just, you know, tight end, shed a tight end, throw a guy out of the way. That's just what he does. And so ESPN punts the ball back, and now BV is just filtering, it looks like personnel now. Keep guys healthy, moving on, get guys their reps and for them to gain their experience. And Mikey actually comes in to replace Gio. Gio probably had a perfect passer rating so far, but, you know, Mikey's got to come in and shake off some rust and kind of get a feel for the game and these receivers. You know, he probably doesn't have no more than a month of practice with these guys, and so he still needs to see their game speed and, you know, their range. Mikey's first play was a pick, I think, and that's because he expected a receiver in a window at a certain spot. I don't think either the window was closed or the receiver wasn't there, and so he had to come back across field and just threw it over the middle a little high. And yeah, it's a little shaky start, but Mikey's a veteran. He'll shake that off, and, you know, they'll correct that. So ESPN actually gets a big pick there, and so ESPN actually marches the ball down, maybe just inside midfield, and yeah, the quarterback just does a great job of going through his progression, right to left, and yeah, just, you know, being poised and stepping in the pocket. Again, just like our first score, I think our safety jumps an over route and they sneak a deep post behind them, but I think for BV's sake, the receiver drops the ball. It should be a touchdown. And great throw, you know, good route. He's just got to come down with it, and I believe it's a young kid, you know, and this kid's gonna be pretty good too. But yeah, BV dodges a bullet there. Yeah, and at this point, that's about midway of the second half. It just kind of goes back and forth, just punting the ball, turnover and downs. Guys, you know, just can't really get into a good rhythm. And then the game, you know, ends on ESPN throwing up a heave to the end zone, and one of our young players, Yupeng, makes a crazy pick here. Big one-handed pick. Yeah, it's just sick. And yeah, the whole crowd went nuts. That was pretty nasty. He had himself a great day. He should have had, I think, 2 picks this game. The one got called back on a penalty. This was the other one. This was the pick that counted. And so that's the last play. That ends the game there. Final score 21-6 BV. Moving on to the second game. It's BV versus Blue Dragon. Again, both teams pretty familiar with each other. They're probably not too familiar with, you know, some of the vets coming back, or not familiar in the sense that you haven't played against them in a while. You know, you haven't seen them in a while, and so and just like the game before, BV allows the first touchdown. You know, they're gonna go down early and have to make the comeback. And this is just Tony driving the ball down, and then, you know, going Lamar Jackson on the team and just making guys look silly out there running in for a touchdown. They actually convert, so they make it 7-0 right away down to start the game. Maybe 5 or 6 plays into the game. Mikey actually starts this game for BV. I don't know if that was the intention or if it was just to kind of see where he's at before moving on to Sunday, but Mikey gets the start. Yeah, man, Mikey's mechanics, you know, that's his bread and butter. You know, he understands what the defense is doing, and just look at his feet. Look, it's everything is fluid and in rhythm. You know, it's just one step right into his hitch, and ball's out, fits the ball in between his own, hits the receiver probably in the numbers. Your mechanics as a receiver are gonna have to be on the same page. You have to understand what Mikey's doing, because his mechanics are gonna go according to what he sees. So if it's a 3-step drop, he understands what's coming. If it's hot, if there's a blitz coming, he understands that he's gonna cut it to 1 step. It's just gonna be, you know, back foot, get rid of the ball, step into it. So there is, you know, you as a receiver have to understand that yeah, your slant, it might be like a 3-yard 3-step chop and then break. That might be a 1-step now. You just have to hard, you know, jab step and break. And yeah, you have to be on the same page with Mikey's eyes at this point. So that's real crucial to how Mikey operates. BV actually drives down, ties the game. Mikey actually runs it in for a touchdown here, puts them on the board, and then, you know, back to old school. Mikey throwing it up to Flash, and see if Flash can you know, make a play on his corner, test him out right away. 7-7 right away. Actually, no, I think it might have been 8-7. I think BB might have gone for 2. And so Blue Dragon ends up punting, and Mikey ends up another long drive, milking up a lot of the clock. Gets inside the maybe 5-yard line, and it actually Blue Dragon plays some stout defense. He gets to the 4th down, and BB finally scores on 4th down. And so 14-7 a half. And you know, you could tell both teams are kind of using up the clock, taking up their time, because each team only had 2 drives in that first half. There were 3 touchdowns, and so yeah, you know, 2 teams who just take their time and don't rush anything, get things right. Yeah, to start off the half, you know, again, just Wild Rice, go get them. Splits it looks like a double team, kind of. Yeah, it's supposed to be a double team, but he just splits them. Yeah, and then sets them in a hole, and then you know, Blue Dragon they shank a punt. It's like 4th and 25 or something, and yeah, this punt is like I don't know if he gets back to the line of scrimmage. So BB's got great field position inside the 10, I believe, of Blue Dragon. And so very next play, yeah, Mikey just makes you pay, you know. And again, his mechanics, just look at his eyes, and you know, everything he does, it's usually for a reason, whether it's to hold or to move someone. And it's, you know, that's what a lot of guys like now. Hold a defender, iron his key, the outside backer, move him out of the way, come back to the middle of the field. Man, it's just beautiful. I mean, that's something you don't see quite often anymore, just being poised. Fit that ball in there. Touchdown to Tommy. I believe that makes it 20 to 7. BV is up early in the second half. And so I believe it was another long drive. Blue Dragon makes it all the way down at the goal line, and Blue Dragon hits him with a well-designed like a tight end shovel, wingback shovel. Gio nearly gets his hands on it, but yeah, easy touchdown, you know, well designed, perfect time to call that. And then they do not convert, so 20 to 13, I believe. Yeah, Mikey does his thing, just methodically move the chains, and then finally hit him with the dagger. You know, it's a deep ball. I believe everyone knew it was gonna be cover 0. Safety was either bailing to deep drop and got there out of position too late, or it might have been cover 0. But you know, I think Mikey was expecting to have that area of the field open. And again, just look at his mechanics here. Like, You know, little pump fake left. Hopefully move the safety that way. His eyes beat his feet, and I always teach my young quarterbacks this. Your eyes and your head has to snap to where you want to go before your feet does. And your feet are you're bouncing in the pocket. Right there, eyes snap, gather, throw. The mechanics, flawless there. I mean, great job of the O-line too. 27-13 BV over Blue Dragon. And so on to this is quarterfinals on Sunday now. This is ESPN versus BV, a rematch. I think BV was like 4th seed or so. Yeah, it's a little different now because I believe Mikey's throwing the full game now, and it's as if they needed more help. But Gio goes to defense, and then BV gets Luge that day. Long wasn't there first day. He's now here, so now you get to see Long and Wild Rice together. And it truly was a nail biter. I mean, offense couldn't punch in the ball on both sides. I think both sides, I think their offense were moving the ball as well. BV just locked it down when they needed to on big situations like third downs and your long situations. They were just there all the time. But you can say the same about ESPN. They were there. BV wasn't clicking, but ESPN did what they had to do to get their defense off the field for a long time. It was just battle, neck and neck. You move the ball 30 yards, punt, or turnover on downs. Move it 40, 50 yards, turnover on downs. And that's just the nature of the game. And the big play comes right before the end of the first half. Gio nearly gets a pick 6. He makes an incredible jump. Feels break on this ball. His IQ is insane, but for a guy his size, like his body has filled out so much, you would not think he's a corner anymore. But his IQ, his abilities, but above all his instincts, just understanding the situation, understanding the down and distance, what routes you're likely to see. When the quarterback hit his back foot, he knew that the ball was coming, so he read the quarterback's drop, and then as soon as he saw the arm, he just went for it, and sure enough, nearly had it. That was a big third down play to get the ball back, force a punt. And again, the game just goes back and forth like that. Near the end of the first half, ESPN gets a big pick. Zong needs to work on fighting for this ball, but just a great job for the safety for being there, getting under it, and ended up taking it away from Zong. And so, big play by ESPN here. And it's just more of the same in the second half. And then the game goes into overtime. I mean, I'm not showing some of these plays because, there's not as much commentary or action in it. But it actually was one of the better games of the entire weekend there, in my opinion. But this game does go to overtime. BV actually strikes first in overtime. And this is just throwing it up, flash, Mikey squeezing that ball through the window. And Flash is there. That's what those two have been doing for a decade. That puts BV on the board. BV does not convert. 6-0 BV right now. And now it's ESPN's turn, and they gain a big chunk play to start on first down. They pick up a first down. They eventually get into a 4th and maybe 10 situation, and BV just has a total brain fart and forgets to cover a tight end down the middle for an easy conversion on that 4th and 10. And that's just, they should have just burned a timeout. I mean, it's fourth and the game's on the line essentially. Fourth down. You already scored. It's not like your timeout's gonna carry over into the next overtime. So hopefully they'll learn from that. But they let ESPN convert that 4th down, and now it's 1st and goal from maybe like 2 or 3 yards out. And like Blue Dragon, ESPN dialed up their own version of a tight end shovel, and yeah, they do a great job of executing that play to tie the game, and then they end up shooting themselves in the foot. They had a shot to win it, and it was a bad snap. And Sean was kicking himself about it, but yeah, I mean, it just happens sometimes. It was just horrible timing for him. But they don't get a second chance at that, and so yeah, now it's double overtime. BB gets the ball. They're up first. They take a deep shot to open it up. That's no good. They pick up the 1st down on the next play, and I think on that play to pick up the 1st down, Mikey missed someone open. They came back to the huddle, and I think they discussed it and said, hey, let's come back, let's run something similar, and check to me first. And so they came back, and of course Gio's wide open. Gio is in now playing offense. Sorry, this is Jimeng now. Jimeng plays offense. Gio is the defender. I don't know if it's man. It looks like zone because the DB is off, but this backer, I don't know their rules within their maybe cover 3, or their rules within their red zone cover 3. I mean, I'm sure it should be different, but red zone cover 3, you got to respect your flats a little more, and I think he just let it go. It's an easy touchdown. Puts BB on the board, and then BB converts too. I think Wild Rice converts, makes it 13-6. And then now it's ESPN's turn. Their first play, they take a deep shot. That's no good. And then the second play, they threw to Gio, and Gio ends the game. Might have been a post, but yeah, Gio just reads the quarterback here. You see Gio breaking on that ball already. So at this point, Gio's running the route for him, and you actually see Fu there playing defense, and Fu does a good job of just cutting off that receiver, that window, I should say. And of course, Gio is just there to run that route for him, and Gio just ends the game. That's the one that he probably could have had earlier in the game to end the game, but he ended up getting it back in overtime. Final score 13-6, nail biter, double overtime. Very physical game up front. Just kudos to ESPN going back and maybe the night before reviewing what they wanted to fix, and coming back with a plan of attack and strategy, and coming back the next day and doing a lot better defensively, I should say. Doing a lot better, held it down. And so now it's on to TCF in the semifinals. And kudos to Yer and Mikey and those veterans for maybe their scouting. But yeah, they were able to they were pre-game, they were already discussing a lot of things that TCF were going to do defensively. Some of their calls, having already got an idea of what those calls were. And you'll notice that there's no audio in the video, but in one of the plays, they call a play and Mikey stops the line. He goes up there and he's calling out, telling the line to shift. He's telling them, all right, they called this, and he's yelling like loud. And this might be for show as well. This is that chess match, so this is intentional to purposely say it, a little more exuberant and out loud to the defense to let them know, like, hey, I know what you're doing already. So just kind of throw that in their face. So Mikey was out there like, hey, this guy's coming. He called this guy's coming, it's him, hot, fire, changes the route on this side, changes the protection here. And sure enough, Mikey just takes the snap. Yeah, it was on a big 3rd down. Takes the snap and just goes right to his hot route, his fire, and picks up the 1st down. And it's little things like that it's the difference in situations, and teams that go a little further is just being prepared and doing your homework on these other teams, and a little bit of that. But this game here was typical TCF and BV game. Kind of reminds me of us back in the day. And yeah, honestly, like, I would say BV, we've been around so long, you play teams so many times, but I mean, honestly, in my opinion, if you want to call it a rivalry, there's maybe only a couple of teams, or maybe 3 teams, that you could truly call it a rivalry. One was unrated, because BV and unrated came up, this is way before my time, they came up in the early mid-2000s together, and they were always, supposed to be the next team to take over after the old heads were gone, like Plaza, IDK, XCons, Red Room, Midcoast, and so forth. When those teams are gone, it was going to be BV and or unrated to go into the next generation. And those 2 teams went at it then, even through their primes, and even until eventually unrated all retired, and there was a lot of wins and losses on each side, and that was a true rivalry that started before, in the old generation of football. And so I would say BV and TCF are truly a rivalry, just because we played each other so often. It was at least, like, for a long time, I felt like we played each other twice per tournament, because BV and TCF literally went to every Wisconsin tournament. At one point, we were playing more Wisconsin tournaments than some of these Wisconsin teams, and that was for like 5-6 years straight. Like, maybe 4 times we would go to Wisconsin a year. And yeah, I think just they complemented each other very well. They countered each other very well, because a lot of what BV wants to do schematically, I think TCF just takes away with their ability and their just the way they occupy space. And it was 2 older heads, so at the time it was just, this was old school, like, just always trash talking, real physical, just nothing but trash talk. You'll never want to ref these games. This past Labor Day was a throwback to that. It was super chippy. Like, you rarely see, like, some guys on VV or some guys on TCF get heated. But at this point, this game, everyone was heated. Like, yeah, just everyone. 0, like, guys going at it with each other, with the other team, with the refs. And it was the same with BV as well, and it was a pretty intense game. A lot of chirping. Some, I won't call it issues, but there were a lot of breaks for refs to discuss and get their things together. But yeah, this was another throwback to that style of TCF and BV games that you had, 8-9 years ago, when we were, I'd say, in their primes, with the old BV guys, at least. This game, early on, BV gets the ball first, and Mikey's just doing his thing methodically, moving the ball a little at a time. And a big conversion here on 3rd down, I believe, by Flash, just going up and get it. Mikey's just going to throw into a window. Knowing there's that middle's not going to get there, that Mike backer. So just throws into his space and throw in anticipation. Throw him during the break, before the break, and receivers got to go up and get it. And it's a big play, because now you have someone fresh coming off the bench. And during the injury timeout, Euro went in there. Let's switch these receivers, switch their positions for this play, and let's double move him. Like, let's test him out right away. Like, who knows if he even wants to be on the field right now, but he doesn't have a choice. This new corner. So let's go out there and test him right away. And sure enough, they run a little stop and go on him, and man, he gets torched. They kind of get bailed out on a bad throw here. Mikey just leads Zongalo too much. Mikey should be throwing this, to the end zone. But look at this corner. His eyes are in the backfield. And this little chop, he's done. Fortunate for them, Mikey just throws out of bounds. That was on 3rd down, and then it's turnover on downs. TCF gets the ball back. Yeah, it's another one of those, you know, back and forth games. Moving the ball, but, you know, not being able to convert when you're down in the red zone. And I'd say about midway through the first half, BB's around midfield, and, you know, BB finally hits a home run ball here. This new corner here, the little double move to create some space, and Mikey rolls out of the pocket, throws it over him, and I don't know what the safety bid on, but he's probably just following quarterback at this point, and so that tells Mikey exactly where to throw the ball. Replace the safety, and just the ball right on the money. You know, that's exactly how it's drawn up, executed well. Converts 7-0, and then it's TCF's turn to answer back, and they end up making a mistake a few plays later, and Luge, as always, somehow ends up getting a pick every game or every tournament. And TCF has been a victim of him getting picks a few times. So this is Luge just doing a good job of understanding that, hey, your role is to contain here, and then when the play breaks down, you know, away from him, Luge kind of drops into a little coverage. He sees the guy coming across the field, and he's just gonna, you know, occupy the space, and ends up the ball gets thrown right to him. So big pick right before the end of the half, and so 7-zip. You got the ball inside their territory, and you got a chance to, you know, put a big stamp on the game. And yeah, BB hits him with a big run down the middle, knowing TCL's personnel on their line and down the middle, and so. Great call here by your Mike. You got Wild Rice leading up one of these A gaps, and yeah, Eddie comes through. Big gain, probably almost 20 yards here. And what do you know, 2 plays later, you know, you get a touchdown here. And again, just this is all Mikey, man. Like, if you watch his mechanics, I know I've been talking about mechanics, but watch him set this up. Just his eyes, what he does with his eyes, his little shoulder pump fake. His eyes start to the right. That's kind of to hold the safety, freeze him. A little pump there on that hitch. And then, yeah, throw it up. Let freeze that corner and throw it over him. Corner is biting. I don't know where the safety is. See, man buns should have been there. Like, I think at this point he was already, he sits real deep, like 25-30 yards off. And at this play, I believe he was already standing at the goal line. So at this point, there should be no way that he gets beat here unless he bit on something underneath, which he probably did. But in my opinion, he can't allow that. So man bun's got to be there. Don't know. Great throw. There's not much this outside backer can do because he's not rerouting him at the line. MGK was not there to make a play, so MGK kind of left that outside linebacker up to dry. That's a dagger right before half. That's 13-0. Good situational football. Make a stop. Big run to set up the dagger throw here. TCF drives it down, and Zero hits Snoop on a beautiful, just a deep post route. But you know, just Zero throws a line drive, and Snoop just goes way up there, like up there. It was a beautiful play. Great play by Snoop. Great throw by Zero. And yeah, I remember that play. Zero just going off, like yelling. Everyone was like, "You know who the F I am?" It's like, yeah, man, that was crazy. Crazy play. Beautiful play by TCF. That made it 13-6. Yeah, to start the half, they get ball first, and you know, a few plays in, they make a mistake, and Gio ends up getting a pick here. Looks like just a drop ball. I don't know if it's a bad throw or if receiver just hits him in the hands, just drops it, but it goes off his hands over the middle, and Gio's there to make a play. And so yeah, now you get a chance to dagger him again. So after that pick, there was that 4 lateral debacle, but because of that 1st and 20, that really set them back, and I think they end up punting, or it was a turnover on downs. TCF drives down, scores, makes it 13-12. Mikey now gets BV rolling, and BV answers back, and Mikey hits Zong on it's just a corner route, I believe. The deep corner bit on something underneath. I think it might have been just smash. It looks like out in a corner route, and corner bit, and so yeah, Mikey was just able to fit it in, and so that made it 19-12. BV gets the ball back, and then BV's unable to run out the clock. TCF burns their timeouts. BB punts to TCF, and TCF gets a shot to tie or win the game, probably on the last drive of the game. But they end up driving down, and I think it was turnover on downs to end the game. And so final score was 19-12. In my opinion, the game was a lot better than than however I'm narrating, but yeah, it was a great game. 19-12 final score, and then BB goes on to the finals. I didn't get to watch any Plaza Boys games that weekend, but the personnel is the same. They're both the same. You know what you're gonna get. You have to cover space. They got like a bunch of little guys, but they all play big. I actually don't have the film for that, so maybe that'll be a different episode. Maybe if Plaza is nice enough to share that, if they want to make that public, maybe I can break it down too. That was a good game. BB ended up winning 13-0, I believe that was the final score, but it was a really good game. A lot of plays made both ways, a lot of plays that guys wish they could have back, that plays that could be fixed and moving forward. But yeah, a lot of big plays in that game. I mean, one of the most memorable plays was that big catch by Andy. Just one of the craziest plays I've seen all weekend. It was a great game. I won't go too in depth about that game. I watched that game from the back end zone. And so I saw BB's 2 touchdowns my way. They scored at the end zone I was at. I just decided watch from there, kind of just soak in that moment, take it all in. And it was different, very different, but it was cool to be able to kind of see everything develop from there, and kind of know what's coming depending on the situation and the formations and stuff, like get an idea of what's coming, and then to see it kind of follow through, come to fruition. It was pretty cool. But maybe that might be on a different episode. Maybe I'll cover that whole game, because some plays I missed because I was so far from it, and I'm super blind, so like half the time I couldn't tell who's who out there. But yeah, stay tuned. Plaza Boys, if you guys want that film out public, you guys are willing to, then get at me. Let me watch and review it. So the tournament ends. BB wins 13-0 over Plaza Boys in the finals. Mikey wins the finals MVP. It was close between Mikey and Wild Rice. They chose to give it to Mikey, which I understand. I think overall, if you do a tournament MVP, hands down, I don't think anyone is close to Wild Rice. His impact on defense, how he made everyone better, the plays he made in spite of double, triple teams, and then catching touchdowns on offense, being an anchor, pretty much at times being the 4th lineman. His just his presence. So if I had to pick a tournament MVP, I would have given it to Wild Rice. But that was just a good tournament to blend in the OG BV guys with some of the next generation, and even some of the new rookies coming in the I guess you would call it the third generation of VV, because they've already went and picked up, since July 4th, already went and picked up a few young guys and have already started grooming them, and all those young guys actually got pretty decent playing time this tournament. So if you guys see some guys out there running with no names, just know that they're some of the new guys that VV's developing. So it was cool to kind of see all those guys from different eras kind of come in and gel and play together, and then win one together. So that was pretty cool to see from my point of view, as someone who's not hands-on, not involved as much or at all with game day stuff now. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode. This was just recapping pretty much BB's journey through this tournament with a few plays here and there, videos for you guys. Hopefully we can get that Plaza Boys BB Finals film. Maybe hopefully that'll be on a episode later at some point. But yeah, I'll keep doing these little videos. I'm planning on doing like just some of my personal favorite plays through my time of coaching. Probably just do that. I mean, it's not gonna be like a top 10 best plays list or anything. It's just my favorite memorable stuff. I'll tell some stories, backstory. Yeah, and then coming up, it will be Sunday, October 3rd. That's the tentative schedule. Sunday, October 3rd, 7 p.m. I will be a guest on Cross Court Conversations. They were, originally, they are a big volleyball community. So they do like podcasts and like Facebook live shows, and they have a bunch of guests promoting great things in the community, sports, athletics, education. They're just really big in the volleyball community, and they're expanding their horizons, and they just did an episode with villagers, and actually they just contacted me recently too. And so Sunday, October 3rd, 7 p.m. on Facebook Live, Cross Court Conversations. I will be interviewed or a guest on their podcast or show, and so looking forward to that. It'd be cool to give our sports some spotlight with them, and it's good what they've been doing. They're a lot more interactive, and so I'll be cool to kind of be chatting with them. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys next time.